lighting a candle that has 2 wicks. The first wick represents us as community. The second wick, or no, the first wick represents spirit or God. And the second wick represents us as community, but as we gather together, we shine a greater light. Okay. So, John, would you like to lead us into the first song, please?
All right. Trying to share screen here. All right. We see that? Loving yesterday, loving tomorrow, loving today, loving now, loving awareness, kindness and happiness, peace and goodness, loving now. Loving music, loving singing, loving harmony, loving now, loving awareness, kindness and happiness, peace and goodness, loving now. Loving forgiveness, loving gratefulness, loving creativity, loving as we could, growing in wisdom, being wiser, living better, loving what is good. Loving nature, loving beauty, loving each other, loving now, loving awareness, kindness and happiness, peace and goodness, loving now, loving now.
All right. Thank you, John Miller. We might very much appreciate it. And anyways, we have a small change in our program today. Originally, it was supposed to be me as a speaker, and Carol Ann had something prepared, and so I said, you know what? I feel I have no problem with her doing it because I didn't feel as prepared. So it's the Earth Day is tomorrow. It's the 54th anniversary of it, but she's speaking on. I'm sorry, Carolyn. It is
living on a learning planet.
Living on a learning planet. And I thought, well, you know what? That sounds better than what I was going to do. So that's better yet. So, anyways, welcome everybody, and we'll have our special musician today as Tim is our doing our music today, but along with John doing some of it, but Tim doing the music as well. And next week it's John Miller. And then we have to figure out later on what we'll do for the rest of the month, but I have something we'll figure it all out. Not a big deal. So I just want to thank everybody. And so I'm going to have Michael do his 365 quote first, and then Tim will lead us into meditation. And Michael will actually do the meditation. So, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Michael.
And well, good morning, everyone, and happy Earth Day to all of you. And so this is from Science Mind 365 for April 21st. And this is from Ernest Holmes does quote from the Bible, and he quoted from the Jewish Bible or the Old Testament, Psalm 104. He says, "O Lord, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches." So the meditation is, may our minds be so open to the infinite abundance of love and beauty, compassion and goodness, simplicity and sincerity, that it flows around the world, bringing back as it must the joy that is God. Let our song be full and all the weight and the burdens fall away as we face the sun. And let us silence all fear, all doubt, all pain, and identify ourselves with the living Spirit. So let us commune with that presence and use that power in the beauty and quiet of this moment. Breathe into us, O eternal Spirit, everything that stands for beauty, everything that is meant by power, law, and order, warmth and color, the artistry of life, and the certainty of love and friendship. Impregnate our souls now with thy Spirit. So, infinite God within and around us, we feel thy presence in our souls. There is only one life, and that life is God. There is one perfect presence, which is good. Infinite Spirit within us, eternal presence. I am that which thou art. Thou art which I am. So let us turn now to that divine radiant center of life, the light that lights every person's path, and consciously unify ourselves with the great love and wisdom and power of the Eternal One. I am which thou art that which I am. So concludes the reading from Science of Mind 365.
Thank you, Michael. And Tim, I'm not quite sure where you're at, but you are going to lead us into meditation, I thought. Okay.
I thought that I was doing it.
What is today?
Because he did it. Because
oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot. Oh my God. My fault. I'm just so used to Tim doing it that on the 3rd. But yes, it is John Miller today. Thank you very much. Okay, so John, you'll lead us into meditation, and now I will just shut up and be good. Listen. Thank you.
I have a hard time with my equipment with this headphone. Peace is now. Peace is here. Peace is everywhere. Floating in a a sea of peace beyond all we know. Peace is growing on and on everywhere we go. Joy is now, joy is here, joy is everywhere, floating in a sea of joy beyond all we know. Joy is growing on and on everywhere we go. Love is now, love is here, love is everywhere, floating in a sea of love beyond all we know. Love is growing on and on everywhere we go.
So let's take a deep breath in. Inhale and now exhale. One more time. Inhale. And again, exhale. Inhale one more time. And exhale. And now let yourself breathe at your pace. And I encourage all of us just to become centered in our hearts. And recognize with me that there is only one. One presence, one power, one love. Which is in and through and all of creation. There's only one life, one activity, one presence, one power. And that activity is not only present within us, but it's also present within the earth. And we feel that, we know that, we sense that oneness that we have with all things, and that all things have with us, that we are interconnected. We were made all from that God essence, that God stuff. Just feel that grounding into the earth. And as you feel that grounding into the earth, just breathe up that earth energy. Yes, breathe up that earth energy and recognize that again, that you are one not only with all that is, but you are also one with all of creation. You are one with our Mother Earth. So as we recognize and put attention to Earth Day, we recognize that this planet that we are on, that every day really is Earth Day. That this planet sustains us, it maintains us, it provides all that we need. So today we honor that. And we honor the life, and we also ask forgiveness for anything that we have done against the earth. And we recognize ourselves as stewards, as good stewards, to do what we can, again, to make a world that does work for everyone. So I do bless this event, calling itself Summit Center for Spiritual Living. I bless each and every person involved. I give great thanks that we gather here on Sunday. I give great thanks for the gift of the internet, the gift of Zoom, the gifts that, again, that bring us together. And we recognize that, again, that we are all one in that great sphere of life. So again, giving great thanks that we are here today, we allow ourselves to experience the God as us through the music and through the message and through the meditation. And we take that with us, that love and joy and peace that John sings about. We take that into our daily lives now. We just give, again, just great thanks for our planet, for our Mother Earth. We give great thanks for our Father Sky, our Father Sun. We give great thanks to all the elements. And we give great thanks for each and every one of us for being here today and being present. So I just now intend for a wonderful service, a good time for all of us to, again, to reflect and to allow ourselves to recognize, again, that God essence living its life as us. So for all of this, again, giving great thanks, I just say thank you. Thank you, infinite life, that this is so now, and so it is.
Love is now. Love is here. Love is everywhere. Floating in a sea of love. Beyond all we know, love is growing on and on everywhere.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you, Michael. And if you'll just take a moment to open your cameras and take a moment to look into the camera and see the magnificent being, which is you, inside those eyes. And just take a moment to look at each and everybody's eyes to see that, and which is really good. And I think John started having technical problems, so we probably lost him for a minute, but he'll be back, I'm sure. But that's always, that particular song that he did is one of my favorites ones that he does for meditation. It's like I just go melt. I'm out. I'm in that sea of love and floating everywhere, and I melt. So, all right. Well, it is my pleasure to have Carol Ann Trick as our speaker today, and she's speaking about living on a learning planet. I believe. I think I said it right. So, thank you so much, Carol Ann, and I'm going to turn it over to you now. Thank you.
So much. What an honor. What an honor to be able to talk about living on a learning planet and take a different look at our planet for Earth Day. I mean, that to me was an unexpected extra bonus to be able to do this today. And in preparing for this, my question always is, how do I start? And I ask the question into consciousness, and then I just sit quietly until I get some answers, some impressions, and I start to write them down. And then I'll pause and listen and write some more down. And pretty soon, things just begin to take form in ways that I would not have created myself. So I know there is something extra working on that. So the question is, how does this planet work? What is it set up to do? And I believe Eckhart Tolle in Power of Now, which was written a few years back, but still he has a good following and he does many incredible things. In the introduction, he said, "You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are." I'm going to say it again. You are here on this planet to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. When I first got his book and read that, I couldn't get any further. I just felt, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into? That kind of importance had and it took me about a week to realize that we all are here for a divine purpose and to help the universe to unfold. That really is why we are all here, but we don't think about that too often. We all are part of the great plan. And when we look at the universe and how the universe works, the universe only does two things. It either expands or it contracts. It's like our breathing. You think about ourselves. We do two things in many ways. Our breathing, we expand our lungs and then we contract our lungs, and we expand our lungs and we contract our lungs. We inhale and we exhale. Our heart is another beautiful example. What does it do? It pumps blood to the whole body. So it contracts, and then it expands to get more blood filling it, and then it contracts to send it out all over the body. And this contraction and expansion, we need both of them in order for there to be balance. We see it in nature. The trees take in the carbon dioxide, it's taking in, and then it expands out by giving us oxygen. We take the oxygen in and in an expansion and exhale out the CO2. So there are many examples, both in the universe and in our own physical life, of the importance of expansion and contraction. And without either one of those, the universe cannot survive, the planet cannot survive, and we cannot survive. You think about even more about what the body does. What we do, we work and then we rest. We take time to sleep. We take time to be awake. So there is a balance. There's a continual balance of expansion and contraction. We live in a we live in a third dimensional world, a physical world that is run by physics. And we just take these things for granted when you look at physics. An object in motion tends to stay in motion until it's influenced by something else. No two things can occupy the same space at the same time. There's gravity. There are all these universal physical laws that are applicable to us in our everyday life. The laws of the universe, which we know through our study of science of the mind, and through many aspects of Christianity, are immutable. They can't be changed or broken. So the choice on this learning planet each moment is simple. And yes, we have a choice. Are you contracting or are you expanding? Another way to say this, are you living in your head up here, which is a contraction and a finite amount of information and all, or are you living in your heart and expanding? It's just that simple. And Ernest Holmes has said numerous times, the simplicity is what people miss. They are looking for something difficult. So I ask you the question, where do you spend the majority of your time? Do you spend it in your head, or do you spend it in your heart? Do you spend it in your head and have a limited amount of information, or do you drop down into your heart and find alternatives and possibilities that you never even dreamed about? One question that I love to ask my clients is, where do you think you spend the majority of your time? Are you a happy person? And would you call yourself a happy person? And so I ask you, would you call yourself a happy person? Yes or no? And my clients will think a little bit and they'll say, well, yes, I think I'm a happy person, but, and then they'll give all these reasons why they really aren't a happy person. And it usually is, but these are the times, and these are just things that come with life, and I have to deal with them, and I don't enjoy it. So I ask them a second question. How happy are you most of the time? What would you be? Give me a percent. Do you think you're happy 50% of the time? 25, 85, 70? I've not met anyone that has said 100% of the time. Fact is, we see from where we sit. And it's that old story of the three blind men feeling the elephant. where we sit depends what we see. And what I see and what I feel with a client can be very different from their perception of what is going on and how they are handling things. It takes a little bit of practice, but we can live more and more from our heart. If you take a look at where we are living, we are actually living on the edge of creation. You take a timeline and you divide it in thirds. The first third is the past, the second third is the present, and the third third is the future. And we can live our life anywhere along this continuum, being close to the past and relying on it very heavily, or being close to the future and opening ourselves to possibility. But literally, we can live on the edge of creation. And when we are in flow, when we are happy, when things are, quote, going right, we live very close to being on the living on the edge of creation. So the questions I raised to you are really good ones. And where do you want to live? Do you want to live close to the past and use limited knowledge, or do you want to live close to the future and open your mind to possibilities, to new directions, to new horizons? Because we soon discover that if we do what we always have, you'll get what we've always done, which leads me to this question. And this is a question that I have posed to healthcare professionals, and they look at me completely baffled when I ask it, because healthcare practice is evidence-based. And that essentially means that because of scientific study, because of observation, because of studies that they have done and research, they have determined what are the most effective healthcare practices. They have decided what high blood pressure is. They have decided what high glucose is. They have defined different diseases, dis-ease, the body being out of balance, and giving us markers to look at or markers to achieve. Well, if this is true, how can you learn anything new? How can you learn anything new if you always have to always have to have evidence to base your practices? How can you learn anything new if you always have those standards that you have to live up to? How can you learn anything new if you get what you always had? Yeah. I mean, it's really a conundrum. And when I speak to different healthcare professionals on it, it leads to an interesting discussion and an expansion and room for beginning discovery, beginning to look around. We know that, and we do this all the time. We have discovered, many of us have discovered in the kitchen the easiest way to skin an onion, and it might not be what a mother or our dad taught us. We've discovered the easiest way to do things, and it's often by accident. How can you learn anything new if you get what you've always had? How can you learn anything new? That means open, creative. If we stay very close to the past and the utilization of the physical mind, ours and others, to tell us what we're supposed to do. And I would go so far as to say there is a choice here to live and have your being based upon the past and constricting down, or expanding into something new and creative. And the truth is, we have a choice every moment, every moment. And that choice can be changed by simply responding to the question right at this moment: how is your life working for you? How's that working for you? I love to say that to myself, and I also enjoy to say to my clients. My daughters and family are big use when we're talking to hear me say, "Hey, how's that working for you?" Yeah, asking them to step back behind the problem or behind what they have questions about, and really step into that larger space. So when you find yourself that things are not working, it's time to take a break. It's a time to stop and literally take a time out instead of trudging. In the AA program, they have an expression: trudging the road of happy destiny. It's saying, hey, stop, and don't keep going down the rabbit hole. Reminds me of the old story of the man walking down the street. There was construction on the street, and there was this great big hole. So the man's walking down the street, and he falls into this great big hole. And he pulls himself out of it and goes on down the street. The next day, walks down the street, he sees the hole, and he falls into it. And then he has to get up and he continues on down the street. The third day, he walks down the street. He sees the hole. He looks down at it and he tries to step over it and he can't. He slips and he falls down in it. On the next day, he tries to step over it a little bit different way, but he slips and falls backward and falls back into the hole again. And then on the next day, he walks down another street. This is a beautiful analogy of how we try to solve problems. And how finally many of us just say, okay, I don't know what to do. Spirit, you're going to have to help me. This is called learning. Hence the name, we live on a learning planet. Many people ask me about nirvana. We don't hear that word too much anymore these days, but people still ask about it. It's greatly overrated. Think about it. If everything is going wonderful and beautiful, everyone thinks, oh, this is the life. This is what I want to lead. We would soon find that life is very boring. We like change. We like change and action. So that raises the question of, where do we learn the most about life, about living, about interacting people, when things are going well or when there are challenges? It's the challenges, it's the problems that are there for us to learn and grow. Hence, we live on a learning planet. Friends often say to me that I live a magical life, that I don't have challenges. And I kind of smile and say, well, I wouldn't say that. And in saying that, reminds me what John did today at the beginning of the service, and what he did a couple weeks back. And just at the beginning of the service, it was such a beautiful example. He was having some slight difficulties with his computer, and instead of getting upset and all, he remained calm and open and just fixed them and went on. There was no angst, there was no emotion, there was no frustration. He just took it all in stride and continued to move forward. That is a beautiful, beautiful example of living on the learning planet and taking things in our stride. The other part of this is at night before we go to bed. Take time and just reflect on how your day has gone. And I know I've mentioned that before, but that's so important. It is so important. And John was what a beautiful example it was in realizing in life there are no big deals. Things just happen. There are no big deals. They're just opportunities to learn and grow. Or another way to say it, we're simply taking care of business. That's all it is. So here we are, 6 pages of notes later, still living on a learning planet. So I encourage you to embrace life, live in the moment, and when in doubt, smile. First thing you do when in doubt, take a breath and smile. And a smile, it's wonderful the way the body is set up, because there's a neural pathway between the sides of our mouth going up through the brain that signifies things are okay. And it shifts things sometimes in a little way, but the feelings of everything okay, the endorphins begin to come out when that happens. Our opportunities are many to learn, some little ones, some big ones, and we need to take advantage of all of them to grow in wisdom and favor with God and man. So thanks for coming. Have a beautiful day and keep smiling.
Thank you, Carol Ann. That was beautiful. And I'm so glad you did this, you did the talk, because it was going to be much better than what mine was going to end up being. What ended up being much better than what I was going to do. So I appreciate reminding us to always, the fact that if we want the same thing to happen, it's going to keep happening unless we change our thinking and change our what we're doing. So keep on doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. So, all right, John, I see you got do you have a comment?
Well, I wanted to appreciate being used as an example, but which we need to ask my computer, how's that working for you? Because yeah, you might have noticed I disappeared again because it shut off and had to boot back in. Not only that, the microphone fell apart, my headphones came apart, and I did figure out how to fix the speakers. Though you have to choose it in the menu, so now I don't need the stupid headphones. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
See, it was all worth it.
Here's a beautiful example, John. I mean, you're saying it laughingly and smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, the energy going out from that is absolutely incredible. When we can laugh at ourselves and what goes on, hey, that's so important. That's so expansive. So thank you for keep doing it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Michael, it looks like you had a comment.
Well, yeah, that was wonderful, Carol Ann. Thank you. And I really, again, how is your life working? And I love that story of the guy, finally saying, oh, maybe I can go down another street and I don't have to go in the hole. And I think that again, that's a learning experience of recognizing that we do not have to go down the same path, and that when we are ready, we can go ahead and we can change. And I it's again, it's when you were pointing out about John's technical uh, challenges, that again, that's I work a lot with ministers and with people that again, that when technical stuff comes up, that what happens is that they is they get all upset, and I used to do that. And I sometimes I do. I just think though, for me, it's better off to I've learned over the years that it's better off just to remain calm and to go ahead and to learn and to figure out and to be centered in the moment rather than being all upset about it. And that's why I always kid with the people that I'm the ministers that I work with on New Thought Media Network. I said the name of my book will be the uh, Technology Way to Enlightenment. So thank you, Caroline. That was just a great talk, and happy Earth Day to all of us. And let's all learn on this planet. So
All right, wonderful. And unless there's any other um, thoughts at this point, let's John, we'll have you do a song.
Well, guess what song I'm going to do? It's called Earth Bloom. It's my annual Earth Day song. I'm going to try to sing it more often. The time is near for major change. What is unfolding seems very strange. Life will be different in many ways. Keep loving through these days. The power is moving to change the planet from what it has been to a new enhancement, transformation of creative power. Our earth will bloom like a springtime flower. Manipulation and pollution, we are late with our solution. What we learn will be revealing as we grow through our healing. The power is moving to change the planet from what it has been to a new enhancement, transformation of creative power. Our earth will bloom like a springtime flower. People hurt and harm each other, though we've been taught love one another. It is time to let each other be and make peace reality. Life is precious, life is fragile. What we have here is very special. Let's prepare to face the unknown as together we improve our home. The power is moving to change the planet from what it has been to a new enhancement, transformation of creative power. Our earth will grow like a springtime flower.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was beautiful. So it is that time in our service where we have a moment for people to give. And there are several ways you can give. The first one is you can go to Zelle, at Zelle, and you would punch in SSC of Akron at gmail.com. And you can give that way. So that's SSC of Akron at gmail.com. Or you can send a check, as long as the word on it has the word summit on it, to 1199 Lexington Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44310. And I get people that do it, it's either way, it works out perfect. So we do appreciate everybody's giving. And whether it's time, talent, treasure, or all three, so blessed to have each and every one of you. So let's take our giving, even if it's not what we can imagine what it is, and put it in our hands, right top over left, and just know with me that all that we have, all that we give, all that we receive is blessed in a very special way, and that it is returned to the Workforce Summit Center for Spiritual Living, but it also returns back to the person in a very special way, 10 times or more. So it is. Amen. Okay, so good, John.
Good, more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. Good crowds itself upon us, wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. Good, more good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
All right, thank you so much. And it's time for announcements.
ntmedia.org, ntmedia.org, and also take a look at our programs that are also on the Summit Center for Spiritual Living Facebook page. So please take a look at that. And I would like to challenge every one of us to form a new mental equivalent for our group. And again, Ernest Holmes used to do this with his with the people that would attend his lectures, that he would always mentally, for the next time, add a few more people. So I would like us to know for at least 10. Again, I didn't say 50 or 100. I just said something that's believable. So again, don't wonder how it's going to happen. Just know that it's already happened, and that to follow any kind of good guidance that you receive. So we have 10 people. We are opening our hearts to more people. So we have 10 or more people now. So thank you.
Anybody else have some announcements?
Yeswise.com. Look for Yeswise Inspiry. There's much more there, but at least look for that.
Okay. All right. Well, unless there's any other announcements, let's do a moment of silence. And that moment of silence, I'll ring in a bell. And see, I gotta change my. There we go. And what I want you to do is, at this moment, to take into your heart and the minds anybody who may need some healing, whether it's yourself, a loved one, a coworker, or just the planet in general. You know, and the many souls on this planet, and just know that whatever is in need is being taken care of right here, right now, in a positive way. So I'll bring us in and I'll bring us out. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, Spirit is, and all is well. Amen. Thank you. All right, John.
All right, let me share the screen here and we'll sing Real and True. Life is real. Life is true. We are life, living as me and you. Joy is real. Joy is true. We are joy, living as me and you. Peace is real. Peace is true. We are peace, living as me and you. Love is real. Love is true. We are love, living as me and you. Living as me and you.
All right. Thank you, John. Again, thank you, everybody, for being here. And next week, John will be our special speaker, and we will go from there. So, Hannah, you can end our Facebook feed now. And once you've got that, then